These are difficult times for Shadric Sevilla. Yesterday was the 10th of September 2025, and no, the ad hoc committee did not hear from him. And I say they're difficult times because it all began, and I literally blame Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi for all this mess, as Julius Malema calls it, on the 6th of July 2025. Well, technically, he did tell the world, or should I say Parliament, on the 5th of March 2025, but nobody took him seriously. So then that's when he had to get into combat gear and, be flanked by half a dozen men and women in combat uniform. And that is when the world said, oh, wait a minute, he's got something important to say. And of course, the casualty of that press briefing was, well, one of the casualties rather, was Shadrick Sevilla. So technically, since the 6th of July 2025, we have heard from Shadrick Sevilla over and over and over again. And just this week, unfortunately for him, he had taken his case with MASEMOLA to the High Court with a full bench. And the full bench came back and said, yes, absolutely. You are suspended. Stay home. You can't go back to your office. We know you really want to get to the 121 dockets, but that is not the case. And as Shadrack Sibiya had promised, regardless of what the ruling is, he is a law-abiding, disciplined police officer. Hello, Mzansi. Welcome back to another edition. In today's video, shocking, okay? Shocking. You would think at this point, Shadrack Sibiya would take this time to reflect on himself. You know, the old Shadrack that we know, he would have done a press briefing yesterday. He would have done a media tour had he won, that is, had he won. But either way, I think he would have. But I don't know if we can call this the new and improved model. But it's very easy for him to return back to manufacturer settings. But so far, he's holding strong, okay? Ever since we heard him in the interview with Griselda, where she asked him, "Are you a criminal?" And he said, "I'm a disciplined member of SAFs." Well, I don't have a new quote for you, okay, to add to my breakdown, or should I say, my play-by-play of Shadrack Sevilla versus MASEMOLA versus Mkhwanazi from the tiny little corner of KZN, simply because he hasn't taken that mic. Yeah, he hasn't taken the mic. But guess who has? I mean, if it's not Shadrack Sevilla, it's his lawyer speaking on his behalf. And he's not speaking on his behalf out of his own goodwill. It's more rather, my client has asked me to say. And you're thinking, oh my goodness, he still wants to come to the forefront. There's that thing that has him, wanting to pick up the mic and call Griselda and tell her, as I was saying, I am not a criminal. But unfortunately, he still has to respond to some questions. Let's listen in. This time it's not Shadrack Sibiya, but on Shadrack Sibiya's behalf, his lawyer, Ian Levitt, his attorney rather. Let's listen to this. I'll be back with the rest of my commentary.
My client believes that he not only believes, he doesn't want to be that person that was told to stay at home under full pay for several years with full pay. He's being paid, he wants to go to work. Then he gets criticized for wanting to go to work because he's being paid. It doesn't make sense. People say, well, why don't you just relax at home? But he's a policeman, he wants to go to work.
No. Okay. Mr. Attorney did not do Shadrack Sibiya justice. He's not just a policeman. He's a disciplined member of SAPS. Please remember that on your next interview round. Because, you guys have been very, very loud. And it has got to Shadrack Sibiya's ears that you guys just really want him to stay home. Why doesn't he just want to stay home in his tiny little corner? He is paid anyway. His conscience, ladies and gentlemen, Shadrack Sibiya has responded to your questions. His conscience just can't let him be paid for staying at home. You and I might find that a very, very interesting proposition if we were ever placed with it, but no, not Shadrack Sibiya. There is absolute work to be done. Now, let's talk about the irony of that, okay? Because there's always two sides to a story. He's a policeman. He's being paid. He wants to stay. He doesn't want to stay home. He wants to, put in all the work that he is being paid for, and he wants to be rewarded fairly for it, including praise. I mean, take a look at the screen right now. The photo on the screen says suspended deputy commissioner. I don't think he likes that. And I think, the media is just being spicy by putting that out there because you already know the internet never forgets, and it's going to take a long time for the public to forget that he was suspended, if ever the suspension is lifted. But what I want to say is, if he's so determined that he wants to work, when the 121 dockets arrived, why didn't he work on them? Why didn't he at least conclude one docket? Why did they just sit in his office? They've been in his office until now. They've been returned back to Lieutenant General Nhlanhla Umkhonyozi in KZN, the tiny little corner. I think it's just ironic. On the one hand, I want to go back to work. I want to go back to work. I want to go back to work. I'm going to court. I want a full judge. I want a full bench. I want the judges to understand. I just want to go back to work. MASEMOLA acted unlawfully. That time, there are several allegations that you must answer to, and you want to answer to them from the luxury of your office? I mean, we're already struggling with the ad hoc committee and their Zoom meetings, and just struggling with the bare minimum, putting the mic on mute. But anyway, we are not there, okay? We are here. Let's listen further to Mr. Ian Levitt and what else he has to say on behalf of Shadrack Sibiya, of course.
There are untested allegations. That is the whole purpose of a trial. You have both sides. You have the people that will put the allegations and are tested in the witness box. Then the accused or the respondent or the defendant goes into the witness box, and then a judge makes a decision and says, well, who may or may not be telling the truth. Again, affidavits, letters, all of that is meaningless without context, and with people going into the witness box and explaining exactly what was said in the affidavits, which again, I'll say we welcome very much.
So in conclusion, or should I say in summary, Shadrack Sevilla won't be silenced, okay? He will wait for his platform, the correct platform, the ad hoc committee, Dondoni, or the Madlanga Commission, where his affidavit, even though it's commissioned, I mean, he is a commissioner, he knows all about that. Did he commission his own commission statement? That's just me thinking out loud. Anyway, I digress, but guess what? Yes, he will still want to go into the witness box and give his version of events and not just be judged by public opinion. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to end this video right here. We are definitely going to be following this one closely as soon as we know when Shadrick is going to go into the witness box over there at the ad hoc committee. I don't know if he'll be welcomed with open arms by Julius Malema, because Julius Malema seems to have a chip on his shoulders with regards to Umkhonyozi, but I don't know where he stands when it comes to Shadrack Sibiya. But we will find out once he hits that witness box what he's going to say. Is it going to be public information? Are we going to be given the privilege of listening in from the comfort of our homes? You let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. If you've made it this far in the video and you're not subscribed, please consider subscribing. It absolutely helps the channel grow. We are on the road to another big milestone, and we can only get there with you. Please remember to like, to comment, to subscribe. Thank you so much to our channel sponsors and also our channel members. We absolutely appreciate you. And of course, I'll catch you on my next upload. Bye!